It's officially here. TNA is back, and obviously that is very exciting, but we're going into a new era, and for the first time in a very, 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 very long time, wrestling fans are going to be given this company a chance, which is why it is so important that TNA Hard to Kill delivers a fun and exciting pay-per-view. Now, here's the thing. If you're not really familiar with what TNA is today, which, trust me, I understand there's a lot of fans on the internet who think Dixie Carter still runs this company. That's not the case, and it hasn't been that case for several years. But I'm a very long time fan of TNA, Impact Wrestling, whatever you know it as. I remember when they became Global Force Wrestling. I remember the terrible times in which they were juggling between different TV deals, losing TV deals on Twitch, stuff like that. I remember seeing the good and bad, and when Anthem came in, a lot changed. The product lost a little bit of its production value, but the product really turned its tide with good creative and good booking. And here we are in 2024, a brand new era. Because of years of making good business decisions, Anthem is finally being given the chance to show wrestling fans what they're missing out on. And sometimes that's all you really need to do, is give people a chance. Now, in today's wrestling climate, there's a lot of wrestling. And let me just be very honest with you. TNA is not designed to be the WWE competitor. It's not designed to be the AEW competitor. It's designed to be a great wrestling product that delivers great TV for fans while at the same time paying a bunch of staff and a bunch of wrestlers, keeping people employed. And look, there's an opportunity to grow. Growth doesn't happen over one night. I've been saying this for a very long time. Even when I talked about the rebrand, I said it very specifically. This is going to be an uphill battle for TNA, and that's okay. There's literally nothing wrong with that. However, the excitement that there is today for TNA goes to show you that there is a higher ceiling that they have not reached yet. And through all of these years of Anthem, not just blowing their money on random talent that don't deserve it, not just doing big venues that seat 10,000 people when they can't fill them. They've done a lot of good things, and that is a really, really good thing because TNA before, let's just call it what it is. It was a big mess. Dixie Carter, Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff. I mean, the list goes on and on. A lot of people don't have fond memories back when the regime made all these changes. And then later on, you see that John Garbuick and Dixie Carter and Billy Corgan are involved. Then there's talks of lawsuits and all of these different things. Billy Corgan leaves. He goes on to do the NWA thing. But Anthem is what intrigues me here. Because again, they've gone away from those old toxic headlines. And instead, they've really just been laser focused on their product. And that's why it is so important that TNA gets this right. I mean, first and foremost, let's just call it what it is. If they deliver a great pay-per-view, because it will be trending, people are talking about it. They keep opening up more seats because people are more interested. So if they deliver a great pay-per-view, yes, you should probably expect to see more signups for TNA Plus, and you should probably see more ticket sales across multiple events and multiple tapings. Fantastic. However, that's not all that needs to be done here. It's not just about selling more tickets, and it sure as hell isn't about, delivering a great show every once in a while. TNA needs to show people that they're consistent. Now, if you've been watching Impact Wrestling since, maybe 2019, then Impact Wrestling has definitely been a consistent brand, and that's one of the great things about the product. It lacked production value. It didn't have the greatest production, but people who watched it were like, hey, this is good booking. They're consistent. They really treat their roster well. Now it's a little bit different because we know this, but some people don't. And some people have to watch Hard to Kill. And some people, after watching Hard to Kill, are going to have to watch a couple more weeks of TV episodes for them to decide ultimately if this is a product they want to stick with. So again, it is an uphill battle for TNA, but this is kind of like a first impression that they're making for a lot of people. It's not very often you're given a chance to give people a brand new first impression. I mean, literally, it takes away from what the word is, first impression. But TNA is being given that chance today, and I think if you're willing to watch with open eyes, open ears, and an open mind, you'll definitely enjoy the show. Now, today, TNA Hard to Kill is doing something that I find to be somewhat of an interesting tactic. Specific verbiage, worlds collide. You won't believe who is showing up. A big signing, potentially multiple signings throughout the next few weeks. they got to make sure they get those reveals right, because the last thing you want to do is hype up a big signing or some form of an announcement or whatever it may be and then not deliver. So I think that's also a very big trick to what is happening here. But it's very important that TNA gets this right because, and I've said it before, when it comes to TNA, they're the third company. They're the top three. But AEW is above them, and Tony Khan has money, and we all know this. But if TNA could really capture momentum, and I'm not talking about total growth or anything like that, I'm talking about momentum, and if they really build some momentum off of TNA Hard to Kill tonight, I genuinely believe that actually is going to make AEW better, because AEW doesn't have to just worry about WWE, then they have to worry about a smaller company. And there's actually never been a more opportune time for TNA to do what they're doing, and that is because people enjoy WWE. Some people still enjoy AEW, of course, but there are people who are starting to realize maybe AEW is definitely gone from their honeymoon phase and the company has an identity issue. So this is a chance for TNA to kind of look at that and say, hey, we don't care if you watch AEW or WWE, but we also want you to watch us. And there's fans who are looking for more wrestling. And so this is a really big chance for TNA to make that impression and get new fans. But you can't do that if you do a terrible reveal. You can't do that by having a very lackluster signing, and you can't do that if you're not making big announcements and doing things that push your company forward. Now, thankfully, because I have the history of watching Impact and TNA through all regimes, whether it was John Garbuick and Dixie Carter or Billy Corgan, or maybe it was Scott D'Amore and Don Callis, and now it's just Scott D'Amore, I know that Scott D'Amore has a wonderful team of people helping producing backstage. And that's a fantastic thing. But now you got to let people see it. And now that people are excited about this, you can't drop the ball. And truth be told, because I've been able to see those great things that Scott D'Amore has done, I have a lot more confidence that Scott D'Amore will deliver. But the cool thing about this is not necessarily just a pay-per-view, right? Pay-per-views are pay-per-views. For a lot of people watching for the first time, they may not know who everybody is. They might not know exactly what's going on. But the real thing that I think is the most important thing here is actually the presentation perspective. How much higher quality is the production that we've been told we're bound to get? What's the stage look like? What's the camera angles? What's the hard cam? What's the graphics? These are things that a lot of people will also be paying attention to, because the first impression for some people who are new viewers, they may not know the storylines. They may not know anything other than the matches or some of the wrestlers on the card. But if you show people that your product looks like a bigger deal than it was once before, perception is everything. And that will get people to watch future episodes of TNA. Which, by the way, Okada, Will Ospreay, yeah, they're going to be at TNA Snake Eyes. So that is something to definitely pay attention to as well. But nonetheless, my friends, this is a very big monumental day for pro wrestling. And if you're a TNA fan, I feel and share your excitement. But this could be a game changer. Whether it's a game changer for the industry as a whole or a game changer for the company, this could very well be something massive, but time will tell.